My name is Brodnax, and I am here with Ryan Marsh. Ryan, welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Shell.
So everybody can see that I'm not on camera today. I actually have a special filming room in my house, but it's ice cold, and I'm feeling a little under the weather as well, so I don't look my best. So I'm going to stay off camera today. Ryan is on camera, but you should all be able to hear us both. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of tag team a little bit, and we're going to speak to everybody about the RESA Buying Group. I know it's making a big buzz, and there's a little bit of misinformation out there and then some correct information. So we kind of want to go over everything just to really give a good explanation about the RBG, and then also how you're going to be more profitable by utilizing buying wholesale and by utilizing the buying group as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you have questions, throw them in the chat box. We can monitor those as we go. And then at the end, there will be some Q&A. So the first part of this we'll probably get through pretty quickly. If you have sound issues, if you have sound or video issues, most of the time it's coming from your end, a breakdown with your internet connection. If you have many devices that are hooked up to Wi-Fi, the less devices on your Wi-Fi will improve your experience. So I'm here on my end. Can anybody hear me now? I hear a couple people said they lost sound. And I'm going to type in here, if you lose sound, rejoin, and that should set you on your end. So we will go ahead and get started here. Okay, RESA Buying Group. Thank you, Jeff Arnold. I appreciate it. And thanks, Lori. Okay, so the buying group, our mission is really simple. We're here to help real estate stagers become more profitable by connecting them with quality wholesale buying options. And our vision is to obviously be the only buying group that any stager would ever need. We really want to be your answer for everything. So not only is the buying group just about getting a discount, we are going to be putting more education into the buying group as well. Hello, my girlfriend, Kathy Hobbs. Love you so much. Thank you for joining us. I love this. I feel like Miss Marianne. I know I'm dating myself, but if anybody knows who Miss Marianne is out there, you know what I mean. So let's talk a little bit about why the buying group. Why is this of interest to everybody? Well, here's one of the things that I really want to make a point about is that the buying group is really about using the collective purchasing power of our members in order for me to be able to negotiate lower prices and special offers that members can't get on their own. So what this is about, it's about unifying an industry. So wholesale vendors right now have different pricing levels, and I'm going to really go over them. But part of their pricing levels is really reserved for industries like the furniture retail industry. Well, we want the vendors to look at stagers as the staging industry. So it's about having them look at us as a group instead of individuals. So the buying group, when you make your purchases through here, you're going to be able to receive better discounts than you may be able to receive on your own. And that is going to also help you increase your profits because you're saving money on your inventory of what you're putting out. So the RESA Buying Group dues, they are $5.99 a year for non-RESA members. But if you're a RESA member, it is included. So it's costing you nothing extra but to maintain your RESA membership. And that we also ask that you report your purchases on a quarterly basis. And we will make this very easy, send you an email, and you just fill in how much you purchased at each vendor. And we do this again so we can keep track. We want to make sure that our numbers are really syncing with their numbers. And this gives us more leverage for negotiations down the line. The RESA Buying Group, we look to really make sure that we're including vendors that you're going to use. So for every room in the house that needs something, we are adding into it. So like right now, I'm really trying to get some outdoor furniture into the buying group. So I'm trying to negotiate with them right now. So eventually, every aspect of the home is addressed. Once we add that in, I think we're going to be really covered. Again, we want to be able to advocate a relationship for you with the buying group vendors. So we're always there to jump in. So if you, for example, want to get an account or you already have an account maybe at AllX and your AllX rep may be unfamiliar. There's been a couple people that have talked to their reps and their reps said that offer is not valid. I don't know anything about it, or I've never heard of the RESA Buying Group. It is more likely that they are wrong and your information with the buying group is correct than the other way around. And the reason being is because the vendors are actually giving us the advertisement that we give you. So you can, it's written by them, so we know it's correct, but most likely the local rep may not know about it. So when something like that happens, all you need to do is float that information back to us at HQ, either myself or Jacqueline Robinson, and then we can kind of intervene and get that relationship off to a really good start with you. We are also going to be curating a newsletter every month. So when they have closeouts, special sales, one of our buying group vendors has freight-free Fridays, and so we'll be sending out reminders about that as well. So let's talk a little bit about the member benefits. Obviously, profits. For the stagers whose business model is buying inventory wholesale, the buying group is going to increase your bottom line because your outgoing expenses are going to be a lot less. Again, we're going to get some exclusive closeouts with some deeper savings, access to the top wholesale buying vendors with established relationships, additional savings off of your wholesale, year-round access. We work with a dedicated rep as well. And then again, monthly engagement, articles, contests, helpful information, closeouts, anything else that you guys want, you also float that idea back up to us and we will try to make that happen for you. So I just want to talk a little bit about the different pricing levels when you're buying wholesale. If you're new to this, this is really going to explain it for you. And if you already know this, just bear with me for a little bit so I can explain it to the newer people. So just to be clear, any stager out there, you can walk into most showrooms out there at any market and buy wholesale. Now, when I say most, there are some of the vendors at High Point, Dallas, America's Mart, Vegas, that are not what we call designer friendly, stager friendly. They won't even sell to an interior designer decorator coming in there. They're strictly retail furniture stores. But the ones that are more friendly to stagers and designers, those are ones that we're building the relationships with. So when you walk into their showroom, the first level pricing, they usually refer to it as designer or showroom pricing. Everybody can get it on their own. It's still wholesale pricing because it's less than retail, but it's not as deep as some of the other discounts. So then you move to your second level, which they often refer to as wholesale or stocking dealer pricing. They use these words independently of each other. They're interchangeable depending on which vendor. So one might call it wholesale, one might call it stocking dealer. It's basically their second level pricing. Any stager can reach this if you spend enough money to meet the vendor's requirements. So at the minimums, they usually range 5 to 20K is a typical range of a minimum opening order and an order that you need to maintain throughout the year in order to continue to receive their special wholesaler stocking dealer pricing. This really is typically reserved for furniture retailers. And then the third level is container pricing. And again, if any stager out there wants to go buy 100 sofas, you may do that. You will get container pricing. But again, this is typically reserved for furniture retailers. So we're honing in on the second level, and we're also honing in on additional discounts deeper than this, than what you can get. This is just a list of the current vendors that we have in the buying group. I'm trying to close a couple others, and I know people have requested Uttermost, Coasters, and Moe's. Coasters and Uttermost, I don't know if we're going to be able to make that happen. But we are trying, and Moe's, I'm hoping to make that happen in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned. If you have, we always want a member's wants and needs. So if you have wants and needs for a specific vendor, please send that information to me in an email. If you have a rep that you can connect me to and make an introduction, that's even better, and we'll do our best to try to make that happen. So I just want to give you an idea of some savings. These are an example of the companies through Elk Group International. They include Diamond Home, Guildmaster, Sterling, Diamond Lighting, Stein World, and Pomeroy. So what we did is we just went through and just picked random items. And this is, they actually helped us with this. We ordered all of this that you see on this slide. It was over $14,000 retail. So if you went to a store and bought this, that's what you would pay. If you walked into any of these companies on your own, you'd get $6,500 is what you'd pay at the designer pricing. And if you're part of the RESA Buying Group, it's only $4,300. So that's over $2,100 savings just by being part of the buying group. For AllX, same scenario here. All of this was ordered. It was $12,500 for designer pricing. was $9.8 for the RESA Buying Group. So it saved $2,600 on these particular orders. And Go Home Ltd, here's another one with $16,483 for designer pricing, $14,000 for the buying group. It saved $2,400 on this. Now, I'm going to open this up for some Q&A, but we're also going to talk about certain things. So with, for example, AllX Group, you can get a percentage below their pricing for AllX Group companies like Diamond Lighting. What they will do for you is they're going to give you stocking dealer pricing, but if you wanted to get that on their own, I think they have, what, a $15,000 order? Are you familiar with this one, Ryan?
Yeah, so I believe 15,000 is appropriate for them, and really it varies by vendor. But typically to get the pricing, the opening order is pretty substantial. Yeah. And that's a question you can ask each vendor as you go into the showroom, just what their opening order is to achieve a certain price level, or of course RESA Buying Group has done that for you. So yeah,
and also what we're adding to the website as well, so you can know what the differences are. So example, for AllX, in order to get a wholesale price from them, you have to spend a minimum of $5,000 in order to get that. So on January 1st, pretty much everybody's treated the same because everything starts over annually with them. So it's really a good thing to be able to do, so because you don't have to spend that. You might want to go to AllX on January 1st and only spend $2,000, and you can get 25% below stocking dealer price with that, and you don't have to spend the $5,000. And the AllX Group companies is the same thing. You needed to spend $15,000. Now you don't have to be able to spend that. And you're also going to get orders over $2,000, get free freight on that one. A minimum order is only $100. They can also drop ship in 2 to 3 days. So there's all kinds of great information and savings that we can give you that you can't necessarily get on your own or necessarily on day one unless you wanted to spend a lot of money. So Accent Decor, Christine, I have never heard of them, but I will make a list right now of everything that we see on here to be able to reach out. So I kind of wanted to open this up a little bit for questions. And then also Ryan's going to talk a little bit about just how to do certain things. Maybe he's going to be able to give you some tips when you're placing orders, some things that you want to be cognizant of.
So absolutely, one of the best benefits of the RESA Buying Group is being able to shop around a little bit. So I know stagers in particular, I'm not going to name names, who love to jump from vendor to vendor, maybe buy a little bit here, a little bit there. And by lowering those opening orders, it really puts a lot of power into your hands as a business owner to be able to bring in a look that's substantially more custom because you're able to kind of pick and choose a couple pieces from different places because of that lower minimum. So from that perspective, it's substantially more beneficial. Let's see, we've got a question. Okay, what about start? Looks like we're getting a lot of requests for new vendors. The other benefit of the buying group, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this at RESACon this year, is how quickly it'll help you scale your business. Everyone knows the most difficult aspect of scaling your business is having the resources such as cash flow to buy more furniture, to stage more houses, because that's what we do. So just one of your examples there, if you're able to get 30% off, 25% off one of your orders, that means you can buy 25% more and you can grow your inventory by 25% more, which further increases the growth potential of your business, which is absolutely huge in this industry. Everyone knows we're limited by cash. The other thing is you can pass the savings along to your clients. Maybe if you're getting feedback, your pricing is a little bit high, by utilizing the savings from the RESA Buying Group, you might be able to get your pricing down a little bit and still be more competitive and still have the same margins because of that additional discount. One of the topics I was going to talk about, we've seen some response to the RESA Buying Group as far as, oh, I didn't see a benefit. I didn't necessarily see a benefit when I joined. RESA Buying Group is absolutely great for everybody. You have to look at it from a couple different perspectives. If you're already a larger business and you're already ordering large quantities, you're already seeing the benefits of economy of scale. So really, especially for OnStage and for us, where we see the benefit, or where we will see the benefit from RESA Buying Group, is being able to pick a few items from a vendor and know that we're going to get the best pricing. Really, where this has the most impact on the industry is within the smaller companies. If you are buying retail and you're looking to buy wholesale in the near future, this is an absolute must. Right out of the gates, absolutely sign up for it, because we've created these connections with these vendors. We've established what's called economy of scale. And the only way we've been able to do this is by bringing our staging community together and really being seen as an industry. Are there any particulars that you wanted me to talk about, Michelle?
Sorry, I was answering questions and I didn't hear your last statement.
Oh, I was just talking about economy of scale and how it benefits us as an industry to be able to be looked at by these vendors as such a large industry and to leverage that. Yeah,
it's very, very important. And the reason being is this. So I'll give you guys some examples. Who was it? Coristan. They're a rug company. They came on a couple years ago and came to RESACon, and they did not get orders. It just didn't work out for whatever reason. I don't know if their reps weren't vibing with our members or what it was, but they didn't get enough significant orders, and so therefore they didn't want to exhibit again at RESACon. So that's going to be the same thing with all of these vendors, is that we need to get everybody tagged in their systems as RBG members, so they continue to look at stagers through the lens of the buying group in order to get the discounts. What will end up happening is if one of the vendors doesn't get enough people using it, they'll pull support and then they'll be taken out of the buying group and they won't sign up again. So it's definitely very important to be able to do this. So if you already have accounts with some of these vendors, what you need to do is just simply ask them to tag you as the RESA buying group. And that way the credit for your purchases are going towards the buying group, and it shows them again that we're an industry, that we're pulling our resources together. Ryan, do we want to, are you prepared yet to talk about what you got me so excited about in Atlanta? I hate speaking in code here, but about the financing?
Sure. So we're going to talk really in depth at RESACon about different ways to finance the growth of your business. And I don't want to spoil too much because I want people to show up to my presentation. But we talked a little bit about the bootstrap method, which is utilizing cash flow and capital budgeting to maximize the growth potential by knowing how much money you can put towards growing your business, how much money you can invest in the inventory from year to year. We'll talk a little bit about that. It's a really kind of a complex topic. I know everyone hears the word budget and it kind of squeal a little bit. But there's other methods such as using credit cards. There's thrifty ways to use credit cards, avoid interest, those sorts of things we can touch base on. But really the biggest one, and I spoke with my financing guy about it, is just equipment leases. So in our industry, because typically the rule of thumb is we're not selling the inventory, although we do, we can actually lease and finance the product as equipment for our business. And these loans are substantially easier to get because they are collateralized by the product that we're purchasing for our businesses. So I'm actually going to introduce a couple of different leasing companies that we actually work with, even go as far as to provide my contact for financing. He's the gentleman that secured it for us. And the way I got kind of this idea to do this is one of my business partners and I, we own 2 athletic clubs and we finance all the equipment that goes into the gyms. So at the same time, we figured, hey, we're not necessarily selling our product. We might as well finance that as well. So what that allows you to do is amortize a large purchase of product over 3 to 5 years, and you're seeing a huge amount of cash flow yielded as a result. And I typically recommend a 3-year lease because that's realistically what you can get out of the furniture, about 3 years of use before it's kind of ran its course.
Yep, there you have it. So come RESACon, we hope to have some financing options for you. We hope to be able to get with a particular provider who will be able to offer this. And then, of course, Ryan's class will be talking about it. And then, of course, we'll probably have another class that Ryan can do after RESACon about it. Ryan?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, really, it comes down to capital budgeting. Like I said, I think a lot of us end up in pinches and pickles quite a bit because we don't necessarily know the amount of cash we have to invest. So as part of my presentation, we're going to be going over what I call an inventory usage analysis. And this is something I created for our business. And I have a funny story as to why. And you can ask Todd about this. We ended up with something like 90 coffee tables and about 12 end tables to pair them with. And that's a funny story. A couple of the other RESA members, we had a good laugh at RESA Atlanta when we talked about this. But really, this inventory usage analysis, what it does is it tells you how much product you need in order to stage the average size property that you stage. And of course, the more information you have, the stronger the statistics are to back it. But since we've started using this, we've been able to grow substantially quicker because we're not buying and storing items that we don't necessarily need. And even to go as far as we've subleased about 35% of our warehouse space in Oregon as a result of being able to make sure that every piece that we have in the warehouse is being used constantly. And the next topic is, I know most stagers out there, they fall in love with their product. They may have a piece where they might want to use it in the future. The bottom line is if you're not continually using that product at least once every 3 months, there's a good chance it's costing you money rather than making you money. So really looking at each item objectively and determining whether or not it's actually fueling your business for success or yielding some sort of return for you, it's an incredibly important aspect.
Yep, absolutely. So we've got a question on here. Cynthia has a great question. And the question is, do you sign up under each separate vendor or does RESA allow one sign up to cover all the vendors? The RESABuyingGroup.com website is a way for us to capture your membership. It is not a way for you to purchase your inventory. So we capture your membership to be able to identify you as a RESA Buying Group member. This gets you into the buying group so you have the ability to go to your vendors to tell them that you're part of the buying group. That way we can cross-reference. So when they call us and say, is this person really a member? We have ability to look you up and say, yes, you're a member. So you're going to sign up for accounts with each individual vendor. You're going to buy from each individual vendor. You pay each individual vendor. RESA has nothing to do with the placing of the orders or anything along those particular lines. I would love to be able to have one website where we can API into all of their databases and you can use the website for one order, but it's about $100,000 system. And since we're giving it free with RESA membership, we're just not there. So we can't do that. But it's super easy. Jeff even said it was super easy for him to connect the accounts to the RBG. RBG is also in Canada. And there are 3 vendors that actually ship from Canada. And I'm going to call them out. And I believe Jacqueline's on and she might type in the box if I get it wrong. I think it's Renwill, Zuo, Canada, and Deco Trends. I think they ship from Ontario and then Montreal area.
So, Shell, I can see Lisa Vassie has a question. She said, what happens when the lease is up? So traditionally with a lease, you return something when you're done with it. But the way these equipment leases are structured is at the end of the term, there's typically a buyout. And typically it's either equal to 1 month's payment or we've had leases that are a $1 buyout. So you literally pay $1 for the product at the end of the term. Because the way this lease works is the supplier's assuming by the end of the term, there's no longer a substantial amount of value. So they don't even want the product back. They just want it as collateral in the event that you default.
I thought that was amazing. I mean, literally, when you said that in Atlanta, I thought I literally could hear a pin drop and like people were going to drop out of their seats. I could not. I'm still baffled, and I'm so excited about it because this is really a game changer. I mean, being able to buy wholesale is a game changer. You know, back in the day, 2002, I got into this industry, and people were not buying wholesale. People were buying, were staging with patio furniture and card tables and what do they put those things on your dinner table? What are those called? Tablecloths. I can't remember what the name they were. They're so horrific. They were just staging with all kinds of stuff, anything that they can get their hands on. And then, of course, everybody was renting the furniture. And then it went to, wait a minute, maybe we should start buying our own accessories, because you couldn't rent a lot of the accessories from court. So then it was renting the big pieces, buying the accessories. Then it was getting a pod or a small storage unit. And then you went to 2 storage units. And now people are getting warehouses and trucks and moving teams. And it's just really exploded. And especially in the last 5 years, the amount of growth to where people have decided why would I give court furniture rental $200,000 of leases in a year when I can make that investment in my own company and I can recoup that? And I've seen a lot of successful stagers do it very well. It's definitely, like Todd said, it was painful back then and to make a lot of these changes, but.
Right. And I would say it absolutely comes back to having the resources and being willing to take on the risk.
It's the risk.
But the bottom line is, and that's why the RESA Buying Group is such a pivotal moment in being able to offer this, is it takes away a lot of that legwork. If you could imagine the years that Todd spent establishing just one relationship with Ashley Furniture years ago, they've had to save up $10,000 just to place a single order at designer pricing. There was no incentive to even purchase from them. And they really went the extra mile to make that happen. And now we're to the point where you, as a new stager, can sign up for this and instantly receive those benefits that took so much legwork you couldn't even fathom. And so it absolutely is going to take this industry to the next level, especially when it comes to the growth of the newer stagers. And any stager who hasn't been buying wholesale, it'll absolutely make a large difference.
So Eileen had a great question. Let me go back to this here. I believe was there a minimum order to become part of the buying group? You don't have to place any order to become part of the buying group. So you're a member of RESA, so you need to go to Mora, the members only resource area at realestatestagingassociation.com. Log in and then find Mora on the menu. Once you get to the Mora page, you're going to find a coupon code, and then you're going to go to resabuyinggroup.com. You have to sign up online. It is going to ask you for your credit card because this is a paid service for non-RESA members, but you're getting $599 off. So anybody who's not a RESA member, doesn't qualify to be a RESA member, they're going to pay $599. You're not. So that coupon code is going to give you 100% off of the subscription. You're not going to be billed. There's no trial period. You're just in. Now, Eileen, when you're looking at placing orders with the vendors, if you go in without the buying group, there's going to be places that you might have to spend $15,000 in order to get wholesale pricing or stocking dealer pricing on your own. But if you're through the buying group, they're going to waive that. So for example, Furniture Classics, they're giving us, when you walk into the door, their regular showroom pricing that anybody can get is called designer pricing. Well, they're giving RESA members 25% below that. So you're saving even more. And then their minimum order, there's not a minimum order. You don't have to do a minimum, but they recommend to keep your freight costs down should be about $750. So they can give you some feedback on freight, especially for the ones that are going to charge freight. Some, there's no freight at all. Some you were normal, there'd be a minimum order of 5,000, like AllX was a $5,000 minimum opening order through the RESA Buying Group. There is no minimum order. So you can go into AllX and you can get 25% below wholesale, below stocking dealer pricing, and you can get that on a $500 product if that's what you want to get.
So Desiree had a great question. It's regarding whether or not, what do you do if you don't have a warehouse or a loading dock? You can absolutely find vendors who will do what is called dropship it. They don't love it. Another thing you can do is if you find a vendor you really enjoy and their standard shipping option doesn't include delivery to a residential address or wherever you want it dropped off, you can absolutely contact your own shipping company to schedule that on your own and find somebody who will. So it's always an option. You don't have to go with the shippers that they're providing.
Yes, that's a great point. You don't have to go with their particular shippers. And a lot of the case goods, they ship UPS. So a lot of them are shipped actually through UPS. So it's not that outrageous of shipping. But the good news is you can go in, you can get your order together, and you get to approve your order before you place it. So if you get in there and you decide, you know what, freight was just too much, you couldn't make it work, they couldn't, maybe swing another additional deal with you, you don't actually have to place the order. But they will all give you some insight, and then you can, again, hire your own company. Okay, let's keep it going with more questions. Those who aren't located near a showroom, will you be able to place orders online? Kim Gibson, great question. Every single vendor has a website. Most people buy at market. So I'll just tell you what the average most people are doing. Most people, the different markets, spring, winter, summer, fall, depending on the location. So we partner with what's called the IMC. And the IMC is a parent company that owns America's Mart, High Point, and Vegas, and some in Dallas. So we have great relationships with them. So what we've been doing is we have RESACon, and RESACon ends on Saturday, and then Las Vegas market begins on Sunday. So most people come to RESACon, and then they go to the RESACon at the M Resort, and then they switch hotels on Sunday, and then move over more towards the Strip or towards the actual market, and then they go shop at the market and place their particular orders. So you just make a little bit of an extended trip. You save money by doing it that way, because if you come to RESACon first and then you go to another market someplace else, you're double spending and out of the office even longer at different periods of time. So you can definitely do that. And also, we had RESA Connect Atlanta. People were able to place orders in Atlanta when we went to that particular event. We just did one in Toronto, in the Toronto area as well. We will have tours, and we have a catalog that we'll send out to everybody after this recording. Felicia will get a actual buying group vendor catalog out to everybody on this call. And the markets are coming up in the spring, and you can take that. It'll have all the savings on there. You can go show it to the reps while you're there. If for some reason, again, their eyes glaze over and they don't know about us, all you need to do is contact myself or Jacqueline, and we will get it handled for you as well. I want to add real quick, Todd made a great point about shipping. Sure. If you're part of a RESA chapter, or you even have stager friends in your area, even if you don't have a chapter, then you can go in on an order. So if you have multiple people that wants to place an order from AllX, place it together and then have it all shipped together.
Absolutely. So I was going to add to what Kim was saying regarding not having showrooms near you. I actually find it even more advantageous to synthesize the order. So not placing them at the showrooms, not placing your orders at the showrooms, you're going to be much more effective sitting down, not making an emotional decision based on what's sitting right in front of you, and actually making sure that you're getting exactly what you need for that year. So it's vitally important to make sure whatever you're purchasing meets the needs and your growth expectations for your business.
Yep, absolutely. So Desiree's got a great question, Ryan. Are prices generally lower at market or not necessarily?
Well, it depends. There are some market specials, but it's similar to any sort of sales campaign. The goal of the market special is to get you to buy money on the spot and make an emotional decision. They also provide drinks to you while you're there. So you're going to be most inclined to make a irrational purchase while you're there. Obviously, you can take advantage of those small opportunities. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing that we typically ever do at OnStage, though, because typically if we place an order at the show, we come to regret it because we may not have ordered what we needed.
Yep. So it's always great to be able to go see it, feel it, touch it. You really get a good sense of things. It's great to be able to go to market. It's a wonderful experience if you've never been, but make lists of what it was that you're wanting to buy. And then, like Ryan said, and once you get home, you can go ahead and take the emotions out of it. You won't be liquored up, because let me tell you, these reps, they know how to make yourself a mimosa, and they will give it to you, and you can hop from
Plus
place
you
to
want
place.
to have a good time.
They want you to have a great time, so they are going to feed you. They've got snacks, they've got cheese and bries and carrots and little bitty Aram sandwiches and mimosas and martinis, and it's a great time. But definitely watch yourself while you're going through that, because if you're liquored up a little bit, you might end up with 90 coffee tables. There was another question here. I just passed it. IMC, International Market Centers, or Pam, that's was just the parent company that owns the different markets. Okay, let's throw out some more questions, everybody. Anything else that we want to cover, Ryan? Jeff?
Do you have anything in particular you want me to comment on?
I'm not really sure. Jeff Arnold, let me ask you, because you're going to be also presenting on buying. Jeff Arnold and Richard Klein are going to be talking about buying wholesale internationally, which is a whole nother ball of wax.
Different ball game.
Is there anything that you guys want to comment on this? You can type in the chat box, Jeff or Richard. I know Richard said earlier everybody should be part of the buying group.
I'm sure Jeff and Richard have some great information on container buying. We used to do it over the years, but really why we decided to quit buying containers is we were wrapping up money into product that we couldn't start utilizing immediately. So what we found is the additional savings, which was much less than the actual return on investment when we were able to get the furniture in, say, 7 days. So if you know that your return on investment is higher than the actual savings for going the container option, absolutely always go with whatever is most advantageous for your business.
So is there an average turnaround time on the container shipping?
I can't fully remember. I think it was at least 90 days, maybe even 120 days. But in many cases, when the cash is ready to be utilized for the business, we were ready to buy and start. We needed the furniture, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what we found ourselves doing was purchasing furniture and having to put out cash flow that we may not have had in the slower season or may not have felt comfortable putting out there. And then it was kind of a waiting game to get in the product. We were also working with a company that I don't think was as timely as many. It was a much smaller company. We got good pricing with them. But it does depend, as Jeff's saying there.
Yep. So if everybody's not watching the chat, container shipping can be 45 to 60 days, sometimes 90 days. Just really kind of depends on what you're buying and then the size of the manufacturer as well. Well, I'm super excited about being able to come up with even more benefits for the buying group. So when you guys have ideas, we're going to have trainings. We're going to have an introductory training to wholesale, just explaining, why do you need a resale license? So just so everybody's clear, for anybody who's new, who's not sure, you do need a resale license. It's also a seller's permit, a tax-exempt permit. They call them different things in different states and countries. If you're in Canada, it's your HST number. And I know that that you don't have to have one until I believe you're at 30,000. But if you want to buy wholesale, your vendor, Zuo, is going to demand that you have one because this is how they report taxes. So it's the same thing in the States, is that you need to be able to have that tax ID and present it to someplace like Zuo or AllX or AllX Group. Because they want to know that you are going to be responsible for paying those sales tax. And that's how this is done, is through that tax ID number. Now, even the different states call it something different. So you would start out with your Secretary of State. So you can just Google Secretary of State, Missouri, Secretary of State, New York. And then you can get the information from their website. Some call it a reseller's permit. Again, you might even look Board of Equalization. They all refer to it a little bit differently, but that's kind of the language that you're going to search for. And then the other thing that you need to be aware of is that sometimes your state will tell you, you're going to tell them what you're after, and they might tell you, oh, you don't need a seller's permit because you're not reselling the sofa. Well, they're not familiar with your business model and what you're doing. You do need the seller's permit. Even though you're not selling it, you still have to pay tax on it, and you will pay what's called a tax, sales and use tax. So you will have that. So you do need some sort of ID. So however your state tracks that, that's the ID number that you're going to need. And we do have a in-person class as well that's coupled with market. So Ryan's business partner, Todd McAllister, and Michelle Minch, Staging Industries, everybody's sweetheart. Everybody knows Michelle Minch. They actually teach an in-person class. It'll be much more extensive than mine. Mine will be 1 hour down and dirty on a recorded webinar just to teach you facts. They're actually going to take you to the market. So it's on Sunday, day one of market, the day immediately following RESACon. They meet with everybody and they have a starting point, and they're going to take you to different furniture vendors, and many will be a part of the RESA Buying Group. They'll have all that information, and then they're really going to tell you the kind of the ins and outs of how to buy, what to look for. You know, what mistakes did they make? Like, for example, for me, I started a staging business. My first purchase was a kidney bean shaped sofa. Note to everybody, never, ever buy a kidney bean shaped sofa. I used it one time only, but I was excited because it was my first purchase and it was affordable. And I was so stoked and so excited that I just lost my brain facts when I was doing it. And then I actually got it to the place and I went, this does not work at all. And now I'm stuck with it because it was a closeout. So they're going to tell you a lot of tips about what to buy, what not to buy, most importantly as well.
Yeah, and I would say their class is more fun than it is work. I'm not convinced it's actually a work trip. But absolutely, there's so much valuable information that goes into it, all the way down to looking at the construction of furniture, you know, whether or not the feet come off and whether you can utilize it in a small space. It's just so thorough and so much information that you would only get after 10, 15 years in the industry, having been through every single situation with each piece of furniture. So I would highly suggest the class as well.
Yep, absolutely. So let's throw out some more questions. We still have a good 15 minutes and we're happy to stay on to answer any questions about wholesale buying in general, about the buying group specifically. If you have any questions about a specific vendor, go ahead and type it in there.
I was going to comment on the sales and use tax. I would absolutely call whichever Department of Revenue that you're associated with, depending on the state you're in, and have that conversation. And really what I did for each of the states that we're in is went through a scenario analysis with them. If I do this, then what are the implications? What do I need to do here? And then it's always good to get something in writing from them as well. Because our industry is in its infancy, minor discrepancies in the way that you describe our service to different departments could cause a different response from them. So it's important to get things in writing as well.
Yep, absolutely. Ryan, do you know what the fee is for Todd and Michelle's class?
I think it was...
I'm looking really quickly here. I'm going to pull it up. I think I'm going to be able to put a link in it.
I wouldn't pay more than $100 for it. I'm just kidding.
Well, let's see. I'm going to give a link over here to everybody. So this is a link to the information on the RESA website regarding the shop. It's called Shop Furniture Markets, $425. Linda, I will add that to the list. Thank you. I love these comments. I love it when we get the feedback. Sometimes the feedback can be very interactive and very funny. So Sheila's looking at, just went back. Sheila's looking at Wayfair and Amazon because they can get stuff fast. How can I use buying groups to help? Sheila, that's the one thing that I want to get the point across. When you buy wholesale, it's not Amazon. There's no Prime membership. It is not drop shipping that's just going to ship it the second that you click it. It doesn't work that way. You need to be very strategic about your purchases and plan in advance. If you don't, you are going to give yourself the biggest headache that you've ever encountered. So Wayfair and Amazon, you can get a lot of things there inexpensively that you might not want to wait for a wholesale provider. Sometimes even if you're not going to purchase enough, maybe the freight might not outweigh the savings. So it's one of those things that you really need to look at and be strategic.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazon, Wayfair, you're looking at paying retail because you're paying for that convenience, and really that's what they're providing is a quick turnaround. So in some cases, it's worthwhile to do that. But like Shell said, with wholesale buying, it's all about your planning and the preparation that goes into making those purchases, and that's where you'll see the true benefits.
Yep. And so Sheila, she's also stating that she has 2 new clients who want an open house the first week in April, but I have no furniture. Not likely the buying group's going to be able to help you on that. I would say if you don't have the furniture now, they better pay an arm and a leg to make it happen for them. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth your while because you're gonna be paying off that furniture that you're going to buy retail for a long time. Yeah, absolutely. And Amy says she doesn't buy furniture. So is this buying group for accessories as well, for single purchases or design clients, or for mostly high-end volume furniture? It's for everything, Amy. That's the beauty of this. When you go into any vendor, they're going to make you spend a minimum of $5,000 and some $15,000 to even get a below designer pricing. So you can go into any of these, and many of them are very much case good accessory related. So it costs you nothing if you're a RESA member to go into Mora, the members only resource area, get the code, and join the buying group. It's $0 for you if you're a RESA member. So I would recommend that you go in, log in. Once you're logged in, you can click on each vendor and you can see exactly who they are. You can visit their websites. You can sign up for accounts with them. None of them charge you to sign up for the account. Make sure that when you sign up for the accounts, you must tell them you're part of the buying group. So some have an online application, some have a paper application. Some of them have an online application that gives you a drop-down menu to say, how do you qualify to be part of the, or what group are you with? And you're going to put RESA Buying Group. Some you're going to sign up for the account, and then you're going to have to verbally tell your rep after the fact to tag you as a buying group member so you can get the additional savings. But most certainly you can go, lots of these are about accessories. So there's lighting, there's the big ticket items, there's artwork, we have ProPack, we have Paragon. And I'm sorry, I cannot remember which is more high end. I think Paragon is more high end and ProPack is a little less expensive line, I believe. So like Paragon, there, if you have a minimum order of $300 and you spend $2,000 on art, they're going to ship it to you for free if you're part of the RESA Buying Group. But if you're not part of the RESA Buying Group, you're going to pay freight on no matter what it is that you buy for them. ProPack Images is going to give you 5% below wholesale of $1,000. And if you spend $2,000, they're going to give you 10% below wholesale and free freight. And they only have a $150 minimum order. It's a 3 to 4 weeks worth of shipping, and they have online ordering as well. So what you can do, everybody here, again, it doesn't cost you anything to dig in, to be able to join it. You can pull all the information. You can see what all the offers are. And then you can even go to their websites and do some of the, and do some shopping. You can make up some mock orders if that's something that you want to do, but there's lots of options for everybody. Chive, Christine, I will add them to the list. I have not heard of them. I'm looking at getting a outdoor furniture and then possibly another one for botanicals. So right now we have D&W Silks, and there's another company, I think it's called Nearly Natural, and they might be interested as well. Kim, we recommend that you go and just click on their websites. Go to the resabuyinggroup.com. You'll see all the logos of everybody and just Google them, click through, or go into the inside of the website. There's links to get to everybody's websites if you don't want to Google it. And you just need to look at them because there's different price points. There's certain ones might be a higher end furniture model. Some might be a lower end. So you want to kind of go in and look to see which one's going to be in your price range for the types of properties that you're staging. And yeah, Tina's right. AllX has a good variety. Zuo has a lot of accessories.
I would say any of the AllX group products.
AllX is really nice,
a lot of bang for your buck. I would highly suggest going in there if you're a first-time buyer for your company. Absolutely walk into any of the AllX showrooms, and you'll be able to get a lot of products for your dollars. And
some of these vendors, if they have a shipping location that's near you, you can pick up. Because Jeff made a good point. Sometimes shipping might be slow, but if they have multiple ship locations throughout the United States and you happen to be near one, that's great. So if you live in the Sacramento area and you want to order from AllX and you've got a moving truck, you just head on over to Woodland and you can pick it up. And you make that arrangement with your rep and you don't have to pay any freight because it's all going to be there. Okay, so we were talking about the art vendors earlier, and we were talking about the difference of Paragon and ProPack. Okay, so let me correct you, because Carrie put a note on here. Paragon is more high-end and a $500 minimum. Carrie, that is not true. They may have a $500 minimum for other people, but for RESA Buying Group members, the minimum order is only $300, and that's for Paragon. So whatever it is that you've heard out there someplace, check it out with the buying group first. Also, again, I can't not stress this enough, that if your rep tells you you don't have, that they don't have a discount for us, or the discount is wrong in some way, please don't place your order. Have them put it on hold, call us, let us get involved in that. We had a new rep at one company that said we were not giving an 8% below stocking dealer price, and 2 stagers placed orders with them, and it ended up getting back to me after the fact, and their rep was wrong. Our information was 100% correct. So if you think something's not correct, just pause it for a little bit. We work all day long, and even if it's an overnight thing where you can't reach us, give us the opportunity to kind of intervene for you, because the last thing that we want to do is have to try to unwind a deal and then have them give you a credit after the fact. It's happened. We have had that happen, but we want to avoid that if at all possible. Kat, I will add Left Bank. Actually, they're on our list and we have reached out to them. It's just a matter of following up. So we will add them, and Uttermost is on the list.
And to comment on Left Bank, there are some companies that do not do a tiered pricing system. They just have a singular pricing model, and they will be a substantial challenge to get them into the group.
Is Left Bank single?
I believe so. We do some ordering from them, and let's just say I've tried to negotiate with them with no success. Okay.
So I'm glad to know that, because that helps me a lot. So there's another company, Diamond Sofa. They're single. And so they will not give us, we have them at RESACon. And I really want them to be part of the buying group. I absolutely love them. I love Tawny. I love Mark. Their reps are great. It's a great product. It's an awesome price point. And I really want them to be part of the RBG, but they cannot give us anything additional into what you can get on their own of what they're giving. So we can't officially include them in the buying group, because the agreement with the vendors is that you give us something better than they can get on their own.
Absolutely, yeah, they're already, Diamond Sofa already has a phenomenal pricing for their product, and I would recommend them to anybody if they're looking to source sofas, beds, ottomans, chairs. Just want to give a shout out because we know I believe it's Tawny.
Yeah,
we order a substantial amount from her. So I love her.
So
looking to help everybody.
We've tried, and they can't be part of the group, but I do recommend that you check them out. McNair had a question: are each vendor's RBG terms listed on their applications? On the applications, no, but on our website, on the RBG website, once you log in, you're going to click on the vendor's name, and it's going to give you a nice, pretty magazine quality ad, and it's going to tell you what the deal is. And there's also information at the top of everybody's page that gives you what they're offering: the discount, the freight, a minimum order, drop shipping, if they have online available, their showrooms, and their website. So all that information will be listed. The Ivy Guild. Thank you, Rebecca. I've never heard of them. I will check them out. And Linda, have you worked with Nearly Natural? Or if anybody has worked with Nearly Natural, just throw in a comment that you thumbs up, thumbs down, like the quality. I know some require a design degree, such as Elk. What is, Nikki, a design degree? Are you saying that they're requiring that you have a design degree to buy from them? I've never heard that. Can you comment? And then I'll jump back to you.
That might be for designer pricing if you don't have a business license. I'm not 100% sure what that would be.
That could be.
That seems like an unrelated requirement, but who knows?
Commercial silk, high-end outdoor greens. Okay, we will add those to the list. I will be upfront with everybody. I am pretty selective about who we're asking to join the buying group as far as the vendors are concerned. And here's the reason. If not enough people buy from them and we're giving them these discounts, they'll be losing money unless we can make that tipping point happen. So if they don't get enough return of their investment that they're making into our industry, they'll pull the offer. So it's not something where I'm going to want to have, 6 of one, of something so specific, like 6 botanicals. I wouldn't do that. I might have 1 or 2. 2, because we can give choice. 1, if they had absolutely everything and the best pricing ever, it wouldn't be anything wrong with being anything exclusive, but we really want to make sure that everybody's signed up and using it so they can see the return of the investment. Right now, everybody's sold on the industry. They're all excited. They've watched the industry grow over the years where just a few stagers would trickle in here or there. And now they're getting orders all the time. Stein World is a standalone separate from the AllX company bans. We're told they require 1,500 minimum and 14% freight cap. And let's look on my paper here for Stein World. Stein World discount. RESA Buying Group members receive stocking dealer pricing. Freight orders over $2,000. They're going to also give you free freight. Their minimum order is $100. They can ship in 2 to 3 business days as long as it's in stock. They have online ordering. So Lewis was informed that Stein World was separate from AllX, and it was a $1,500 minimum and 14% freight cap. So that might be for everybody else, but for RESA members, this is what we're able to do. I love these questions, especially when people think that it's more than it is. And I'm able to say, no, guess what? We get better for our members. It's awesome. Desiree, having trouble registering for the RBG, it won't accept the coupon code. So when you're doing the coupon code, make sure you type it in. Don't copy and paste it, because when you copy and paste, you may pick up an additional character. And Desiree, I'm going to make a note to follow up with you after the webinar. Because if you ever tried to sign up before and maybe didn't follow through with a registration, that can also happen. So I'm going to check RBG membership for that. And then I'll have myself or one of my staff members follow up with you after the webinar or tomorrow first thing. Nikki, right. So Ryan, Nikki was saying that when she was applying and they asked her on the application, where was the design degree from? I would just mark it NA, say that you're a stager, Nikki. And if for some reason they contact you or reject you in some way, shape, or form, just let myself or Jacqueline know and we'll handle it for you. The coupon code is in Mora, the members only resource area of RESA. And that's where everybody can get that. We're going to ask that nobody post that in the group because this is open right now to non-RESA members, and you do need to be a RESA member in order to receive that savings. Minimum order at Stein World. Repeating that, their minimum order for RESA Buying Group members is only $100. Oh, Desiree, you tried it before. Okay, great. So I'll log in a little bit. I think Ryan just dropped off. I don't know if he lost his internet or if he's going to be able to jump back on. Any last questions that I can answer as I'm here? If not, we will let you get on with your evening. We're right about the 5 o'clock hour right now. And I really do appreciate everybody taking time to meet with us and to chat with us. We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your evening to be able to be with us and to find out about these offers. I definitely want everybody to check out RESACon, check out all the events that we have for you. RESACon, especially this year, we have so much information at RESACon this year. We have actually really advanced topics. We're talking about wealth management, how to retire, how to really overcome a lot of objections. We've got serious sales trainers and asset wealth management experts and attorneys speaking. So we really want you to come and have a great time. Kristen Wilk. Jacqueline, if you're on, can you make a note of this as well for Kristen? to check her membership. Yes, it will charge you. If you put a coupon code in and it does not go to 0, do not move forward because it's going to charge you. You're not going to get charged tonight because we're going to go in and stop it. And it's a 120-day trial for anybody that's charged, Kristen, but we'll log in and we'll get that corrected. So for anybody else that's doing it, if you tried to sign up before and you didn't complete a registration and you try again, you're not going to get a result on the coupon code. So if the coupon code, you'll see it where you click your button, it'll go from $5.99 to $0. If it's not at $0, don't move forward. Call us and let us help you. And we will get that taken care of. And I think Lewis had put something else, specifically asked because a part of the RBG, they have divided their brands into Elk Home, Elk Lifestyle, and Stein World. Apparently Stein World, the RBG offer does not apply. Free Freight Fridays is what they're offering. Well, Lewis, they haven't notified us of that. I will definitely check with them. But as of right now, that's what the offer is. And if they change it, then we will get it updated. But as of now, they haven't. They're bringing on new vendors, but they have not told us they were taking anything away. And I think that's going to be it.
So I was just going to say one more thing here. So I just want to promote my RESA class coming up at RESACon. So we're going to talk a lot about how to effectively utilize your cash flow to purchase inventory. So if you're interested in some of the topics that we talked about today, and you want a more in-depth explanation, and actually some of the spreadsheets that I utilize for OnStage and have helped us grow over the years, if you attend them, I'm going to be sharing a whole lot of information about that.
Awesome. And again, we've got something for everybody. If you haven't been to RESACon yet, please do check out the website, resaconvention.com. Lots of information on the website, lots of different speakers. We try to divide up the speakers into somebody that's more entry level or what we consider a newbie into the industry, a couple years in business, mid-level, and then certainly the more seasoned stagers. So there's really something there for everybody. We also have the Home Staging Industry Awards. So let's mention that quickly. One of the best ways to be able to market and promote yourself, because we have top 10 lists and the actual winners. And I'm going to be honest with you, in some categories, some years, it's real easy to make a top 10 list because some years we just haven't gotten a lot of people that have put in for a particular category. So it is super important if you want to market yourself, even if you're new. It's called the Rising Star Award. It's for somebody who's been in business for less than 2 years. Get on that top 10 list, because when your peers vote for you and you make that top 10, you get to market that you just made. You know, you're a top 10 rising star in the real estate staging industry. Then we have for people over 2 years in business, we have teams, we have leadership awards. We have the most influential list. So you can nominate somebody who's the most influential person in real estate staging. It's really a great way for us to be able to honor the movers and the shakers in our industry. And it all happens at RESACon at the awards banquet. So check us out. Lucy, thank you. I'll add Modway to my list. And thank you again for everybody for joining us. That's myself and Ryan Marsh, and we're signing off, and have a great evening.